Hello, hello, hello. I'm trying to know how to do this thing properly. Okay, hello people. Well, it is a happy. Why am I always doing this? Today it is the Mongolo Crooning Show where we talk about life, love, and everything in between. And of course, immediately we have Abby Fash. Hello, girly.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Can you hear me?
Of course, certainly I can. Hold on. I just went to put off the fan
Oh, okay.
because I had the fan on because even though it was a bit cold, it was still a bit warm too.
Yeah.
I'm loving the haircuts and
So,
the gender. That is nice. What has Ron got to say about that?
well, I have not even had time to on the day that I went to do my haircut was the day that I lost my friend. So when they were
Oh,
cutting it, I
so
already had
sorry.
plans. Yeah. I had plans on how I'm going to shape it, how I'm going to make it look tantalizing and all of that. Just like, you know what? F it.
But it looks great. What are you talking about? I mean, you look. I
No,
mean, I love it. I love
no,
it.
this is just the tease of the iceberg.
Well, we have not seen anything yet. Okay,
they've not
now.
they've not shaped the side. Oh, go lock
Okay, are you going to put lines?
not
I want
necessarily
to.
a particular line here, but I just want it to be a bit more cleaner. And
Hmm. Then
yeah,
go take.
want to
If they
agree.
not take, they go receive.
You need to see how I was moving in London. They're like, "Ah, oh God, oh God, I'm not
What's
doing
going on?
like I'm a spec. Like seriously,
I
um,
beg. In fact, my friend I saw in London when I was around, Liz. She's around. She's actually cooking in the kitchen. She's making me fish stew because to my shame and disgrace, and I'm already saying it, I forgot how to make stew. I tried to make stew one day, it was a travesty. So I was like, look, I can't remember how to make stew anymore. So she's making it for me anyways.
you
But
mean African stew or stew generally?
and just obiata.
Okay.
I forgot how to make obiata.
Just being lazy because you can go on YouTube. Gbogbo yẹn, come on.
I was thinking I could do it from memory, and I realized that it's been so long that I've cooked obiata. I'm talking years that
Wow.
I've completely forgotten how to make it.
So
Completely
what
forgotten.
do you now eat? Unjebo.
Not really.
So what do you
I
eat?
don't know. Like I would just like make some, like I would just chop up pepper, tomato, everything, just fry it, and that kind of thing. I
Mm.
don't really do like stew because I'm the only one in the house.
I get
And if I make stew, I'll get tired. By the time I eat it twice, so that's why so making stew is not advantageous for me. It's actually wasteful.
See,
So
me,
I just
I have a freezer, so which means that if I cook the particular soup today and I don't feel like eating, I'll just chuck it in there, do something.
if I do that, I'm never chopping that in again.
No, I'll come back to it.
Mm-mm.
Because there are days you're going to be the days I'm going to be starving, like I want to have something. Like before I went to London, I had to cook a couple of things, even though I can't. It's not like I'm taking food to London, but I don't want to come back and then be acting like a hungry holder woman and all of that. So I make sure
No,
before I leave.
what I did, which has even been helpful for her, I will take pepper. I don't put tomatoes in it, just pepper and onions, garlic, everything, and blend it, boil it, and put it in bags and put it in the freezer.
That's much
So,
better.
so she's just taking one and then she's taking tomato and she's going to make stew.
Well,
So I do that and I put it in the freezer. So when I want to eat
we
anything,
are a community in our house now. So and my kids they eat African food. So
me,
um
I'm the only one, and me, I only eat twice a day. So there's no point in me making a pot of stew. It's
no,
waste.
I know.
Uh-huh.
And
So that's
you're gonna get tired of it as well. So at the end of the day, I like people
exactly.
cooking for me. I buy actually. So if I've not said that, I really like people cooking for me. One of the reasons I go to London is I get to try a lot of food, particularly African food. This time around, I think I had fish, one very massive, big fish like this. There was salad, there was all sorts of sauce and all of
Is
that.
that like that Monica kind of thing at 8:05?
Exactly, something of that nature, and it was really nice. I did enjoy it. I think I had something else as well. I can't remember. So many names and all of that.
She's
And
making she's making red bream. So she's making red bream sauce. And
okay,
then we bought a crab, those blue water crab. So I'm going to make pepper soup with it. So that
wow,
we can have that tomorrow morning. We can just have that for pepper soup.
yay,
But that's it. I've actually eaten more in the 2 days she's been around than I've eaten in the entire month.
wow.
You know. So we have Cheryl Torres saying greetings, YouTube family. Now, before we continue, because we've been talking about food, and Ron, I'm sure is like, is that what I told you to do, Abby? We are supposed to talk about your charity, Abby. Yes,
Exactly.
Abby. I felt weird saying Abby. I was like calling myself. So we need to hear about your charity organization. So I don't know if there's a video. Let me just check if there is. But while I'm waiting for that, let me just check quickly.
I think
Did you
Ron
send
was,
him? Did
yeah,
you send him? Oh yes, best buddy. Okay, so
Welcome to
I'm going to
Best
play
Buddy
that
Scholarship
now.
and Hope Foundation, also known as the FESH Foundation. Best Buddy Foundation is born out of the collective commitments of African professionals with goals of improving access to education to underprivileged children, which also includes young men and women in impoverished areas and rural communities in Africa. Its founder's key objective is to ensure that every child is given equal opportunities and access to basic education while working with local grassroots organizations. We have helped to fund schools, hospital bills and visits, pensions, and loving homes for abandoned and orphaned children. Our program partners are our lifesavers. They are the ones doing all the hard work, sometimes in the most difficult circumstances. And it is only thanks to our amazing supporters here in the UK and around the world that we are able to help them. Come and join our team. You will change lives forever, starting with your own. We have a team in Nigeria who see to it that all activities are fully taken care of, right from the start to the end of the project, which ensures the Nolan principles are followed. We also work directly with small local organizations which are best placed to know the needs of their communities, identify the solutions that exist, and work best within their cultural and religious contexts. They are efficient and cost-effective because they use local staff and local resources and are quick to adapt. Basic school projects.
Thanks to Best. I want to use this opportunity to thank the Best Body Scholarship for giving me scholarship and not allowing me to worry about my mom paying my fees or my aunt providing
Medical support. Our visit to Nayaya General Hospital, Abuja, Nigeria, to support some patients in paying their medical bills, mostly children and women. I care for pensioners. Best Buddy Scholarship and Hope Foundation partnered with Honorable Mojiolo Olawa Ali Macaulay, Mama Amuro, to give free reading classes to 500 pensioners alongside drugs and eye drops. COVID-19 campaign. The Akiti Palliative Campaign. Street Feeding Campaign. Our street feeding campaign in Mokola under Bridge, Ibadan, Nigeria. Basic school projects. Meet our trustees. Best Buddy Scholarship and Hope Foundation trustees act in a voluntary capacity and meet 8 times a year as a board to ensure that Best Buddy Scholarship and Hope Foundation is run in accordance with its legal, moral, and ethical obligations. Abin Bola Fashion, Chairperson. Abin Bola is the founder and advocacy director of Best Buddy Scholarship and Hope Foundation, a serial entrepreneur and a project management expert, with almost 10 years experience of working in the public sector. Ambassador Derek Bardobo is a Nigerian-born media consultant, youth development advocate and community leader with a passion for writing, which has seen him extend his professional career across continents, including at Make a Donation Now. Your donation goes a long way in Africa, the deprived communities where a little bit can mean a life-changing difference for the people. To do this, visit our website on www.bestbuddyfoundation.org.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know why it was doing bow bow ahead. That sound. I don't know what happened that came on, but it did come on, and I couldn't understand or try and take it out.
You know what's wrong?
And then I tried to add Ron on, but then he was playing it, so it was. But I think we got the whole back and forth of it. So I struggled to understand it because it was a computer that was reading it.
1 second, I'm coming.
Are you speaking to us or to somebody else? Ron. Okay, I think he's speaking to somebody else. I struggled to understand it a bit because it was a computer that was reading it out.
I think it was a bit long as well. But thanks to Ron. Really appreciate that. That was all Ron. All I did was give him picture and all of that. So well done, Ron. That was really good. Appreciate that. In summary, the organization main focus, just three things, which is education, economic empowerment, and health. 50% of what we do is on education, and 30% is on health, and 20% is on economic empowerment. Sometimes we swap those ones around each other. That means that whatever fund that we get, we give education most priority. As of yesterday, we still paid a particular school fees. The school fees is about 200 and something. But we were able to raise about, I think it was 82,000 naira for that particular child. And so our aim really is for people who are kind of, we call them indigent, which are, we try not to say poor people. So, but if you look at it, they're people who are vulnerable. So the father of this particular child cannot, is deaf, he can't hear anything. He used to be a pastor, and all of a sudden one day he just couldn't hear. There's so many other diseases like that that would stop him from being able to support his child. And so we raised some funds and all of that. And so we're like, okay, we're not going to pay everything. We can pay part of your school fees. We don't give money to the recipients. We usually just pay through to the school directly. And yeah, so, and we've been doing this for a while now. So since 2018, one of the schools that we've worked with, particularly Janiki. And I mentioned that one because they were very thorough. They have a very good system, like, you know, you can see all their dashboard and all of that. So we always want to see where we are paying and all of that. So it's a good.
So anyone who.
Oh, you're breaking, Abby.
Abby, what's wrong with your internet?
Is it mine or Abby?
It's Abby. Can you hear me?
Me, I can hear you.
It's Abby's internet as usual.
Okay, what's the question, Abby?
I was saying that because we've no I was saying we've listened to a long thing and then you explain. So I'm just saying that anybody who is interested in joining, they've seen the video and they've heard you talk about it briefly. So anybody who is interested in joining, you know, supporting, you know, contributing, please get in touch with Mongolo.
Okay.
Straight to be able to get on that, because this is a very, very worthwhile project. I've told you that I really am interested because, you know, it's something that I've had a dream about for a while. So, you know, it's not all about just us coming here to come and talk and argue and everything. We actually want to do something socially good for our motherland, you know, and anywhere else that there's help.
To encourage your conversation, what we are talking here as well is giving back, no matter how you look at it, because
Yeah.
we are taking our time out of our busy schedule to talk to each other. And if you look at most of the topics and things that we discuss about, is going back to our community. So we're not just
Yeah.
saying, and we have to look at giving back is not limited to giving money. Giving back is not limited. Sometimes all
Yeah.
we
It's
need is
time,
time.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
everything.
your advice will go a long way to say, you know what, you guys are doing great, but we can, we can give you one tip or the other. I know that if I want to drag Ron anywhere from now, I'm going to drag him. But that's the kind of thing that is all about. So it's not all about I should be able to give money, I should be able to, but
Yeah.
it takes a lot of time. And yeah.
So anyone who is interested, you've watched it, you've heard us talk about it. Anyone who's interested, please get in touch with Abby. So let's move on to the show because we're already 22 minutes in. Um, and yeah, so we are talking about Ron. You are the one who brought the topic, so I think it's best you explain it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I picked this one out today for a specific reason. Over the weekend, I've been going through, I always scan through podcasts on YouTube just to see where we are falling short and where we can improve and all that. So, nice, sexy head you, Bahabi, by the way. The thing is
Thank
distracting.
you.
Who is talking about you? I'm talking about Bifash. Okay, you too. Nice,
Get that.
nice, nice win screen.
Get
Very
that.
Allow that to just enjoy that moment.
ah,
I mean, I
almost.
already know on Instagram, people have lost their mind over my photos. So I don't care.
Homosexual is here now. So I have why I was going through a lot of podcasts, and I also sit as panelist on many people's platform. So I realized something. There's a guy called Andrew Tate. He was just banned recently, right? So everybody was freaking out, and more people were posting his videos and all that. So there was something I picked in all the conversation. I realized that the people listening to these guys don't even understand what the message the guys were passing, and they were just interpreting it. When I say these guys, I'm talking about Kevin Samuels, Andrew Tate, Oshedu Johnson. That's the manosphere. They really don't understand what they were talking about. And I said, okay, I see where the problem is. Everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon without even having a clue of what they are doing. So I said, okay, today we are going to discuss this because one, I'll break it down in pieces. One, Kevin Samuels was not talking to all men. Like when I say all men, not because you have a dick, he didn't consider everybody in his presentations. He only considered people. Oh, I consequence your, what do you call it? Your camera, allow your camera and your speaker from your browser. Check your browser, it will ask you to allow it. That's the only way you can come on. So now in the case of Kevin Samuel, he was talking about high value men. So what high value men? That's the 1% of the entire population. That's the billionaires, the millionaires, the rich folks. He was not talking to poor people. He was not talking to lazy men. He was not talking to men who cannot generate enough income. Same thing, Andrew Tate. When you listen to him, Andrew Tate was not talking to all men. He was talking to people in the 1%. Now, what does that mean? It means that if you feel the need to be a boss man in your house, you want to call the shots, you want to do this, you want to do that, and you're having all this high expectation from your woman or your wife, what are you actually bringing to the table to make that work? Like, really, you can't be an average guy and be expecting your wife to sit at home and allow hunger to kill the entire family. It doesn't make sense. You can't be a poor guy and be commanding and bullying and slapping. It also doesn't make sense. In the capitalist economy we are in now, we need both parties to be working to make ends meet. That means we need the husband to be working, we need the wife to be working. And if you find yourself in that situation, now it's not a sin not to be rich. I am not rich. I'm not even near average. Anyway, it's not a sin. Now, when you know where you stand in, and that's why it's always good to know where you stand in any situation. If you know you are not babalowo, rich man, mega billionaire, or millionaire in dollars, or whatever it is, please, all those rules there, all those teachings they teach in first don't apply to you, including me, that I'm not rich. It doesn't apply to us. It only applies to the rich ones, the man that can tell his wife, I'm a millionaire, sit down, I'll be giving you allowance of $20,000 every month, or $50,000. Of course, no woman will even argue with that. It won't be a struggle. It will be as easy peasy. Is that all? Okay, let me sit down. Or go and open boutique, go and start your business, start a fashion house, start your own private practice, or whatever it is. But make sure that you watch the home front. I don't believe any right thinking woman, or even a feminist, I don't think a feminist will even have a pushback to that. But where I see problems going on is that below average people are now trying to cling onto these messages and try and cause commotions in their own house, in their own homes, with very, very terrible results. If you must practice what you hear, please work on yourself, expand your skills, do whatever it is you have to do to put you on that level. But you can't ask for too much if you yourself are not offering too much. And this is the premise at which we are going to have this discussion today. So we need to break it down. So we need to hear how women feel about these discussions, and how they feel. Anyway, if guys, the floor is yours. At least I've given a little bit of premise to this whole discussion, so you can take it from here. All right, I'll be
Okay,
fast because
before we go on, I just Cheryl Torres, hi. And Kathy Aldu, hi too. Well, thank you for joining. Please tell other people so they can join, like, subscribe, share, so that we can, have more people joining on. We already have a good number of people watching. So thank you to everyone who's watching. Please drop a comment so we can say hi to you, so that at least you know that you're recognized. So I have several questions, but before I go into my questions, Abby, over to you.
just a second. Okay.
I
Continue.
don't know. I don't know why Ron is opening a defense for this guy after misleading quite a lot of people into thinking whatever boondoggle that they are saying is related to everyone, because they should have made it so clear to say that this is not for average set of individuals. Now, I've heard a lot of people talk about submission, about respect, about regard. Now, just like Ron said, it's so easy. Hi, Ifeanyi. Just
Hey,
like
Faye,
I'm
hi,
not
value
saying
man.
anything. I'm not saying anything. I'm keeping quiet today.
I
Hi, value man.
I'm keeping quiet today. I'm
it
saying
is an
anything.
interesting discussion to see that somebody is going to be thinking that you still need to spoon feed somebody to think that, okay, you have to tell them that this is about for high value man. You don't have money, you're an average guy, and you want to tell your wife that go and do this. Now, that's one thing. Then the second thing that Ron mentioned that I was trying to get is that even if you have $50 billion, whatever your money, you can't your wife is not like it's not a cupboard that you just say, I want you to do this. It's an agreement. That's why you guys are married. You should be able to discuss it. What are her skill set? What can she do? I know that you might not really mean it, but the way that you throw that conversation into the air is not really too good. But I know exactly what you mean. So you don't need to explain yourself. You can keep it for unexplained. But all I'm saying in nutshell is this, that when we are given information, and that is why we have to be careful about all this generalization. This is what you do, this is how you do. And dear online at home viewers, if you listen to most of these motivational speakers, they will lead you to destruction. They will lead you to destruction. They will lead you to destruction. Please, they don't, because at the end of the day, they're giving you advice, but they're not putting context to it. They're giving you advice, but they're not putting you. And I understand what someone like Kevin Samuel was trying to do. I do understand it, because the value of most men, to become good, is dropped. A lot of them don't have sense. And I'm sorry, guys. I respect you guys, and I have a lot of wonderful men around me. But most men don't have sense. So they need somebody to be talking sense. But when you are talking the sense, just be, try and make sure that you put context so that whoever is picking that sense from you can pick what is going to be valuable, what is going to help them rather than what is going to cause them damage. Ron, if you like, I'll keep quiet for now before I start going into
I didn't want to say it the way you said it, but auntie, take it easy now. It's only for our run. But because when he was talking, I was like, from your mouth, you actually are saying, oh, it's not for, because the way you always will talk is as if, oh, every man should be able to. Kevin Samuel said this, and I'm like, because even okay, I think Kevin Samuel was an idiot. I honestly think so. I don't think he had anything valuable to give to anybody. And the reason why I felt he was an idiot and he didn't have anything valuable to give to anybody was because the kind of men he was talking about, he himself was not that kind of a man.
I don't agree. And
well, that's I said my opinion. He himself was not a high value man that he could tell a woman, sit down here and I'll be giving you 50,000. He was not.
When we are giving
emotions because you always get it wrong.
I'm not getting emotional. This is the thing. John thinks he knows my emotions. I'm not getting emotional. I was being factual here. Let me speak. Wait now. I let you speak.
You made an allegation. I want to ask you, what made you think it was not a high value man?
Come on, he wasn't a high value man himself. Now he did the kind of when they are mentioning rich men in the world. Was his name there? Look, the kind of men that can tell a woman.
Was high value? Let's get the definition.
Shebi is the one who now said that the kind of advice he was giving wasn't for every man. For you to be able to tell a woman, sit down, you're not going to work. You have to be giving her the kind of money that's going to scare her into silence. Abi?
Madam, what is a high value man?
Okay, I don't talk anything. Okay, over to you.
Who came first? Was it Ifeanyi your
no, okay, was here first. Okay.
Almost sexy. So because I was telling you, we went to go and tie deeper lifestyle. Because I was telling you in the afternoon.
Deeper life, we close their ears, join.
Oh, okay.
So this is redeemed. Kelly, welcome, Kelly.
Oh yeah, what are your thoughts?
I bet wait till they talk about. Bring down the blind.
You didn't hear anything that he said. You do this thing every time. You'll be there. Then you say, I bet, what are we talking about? Go and find out what we're talking about. Then come back. What are we talking about?
These two people on this segment, if you know the millions that is passing between them. Anyway, we are learning.
And they work.
So basically, Ron was saying that.
Okay, let's pass to Ifeanyi. Then maybe while you hear Ifeanyi talking, then you can catch up, Abi.
No, I beg. Say what
Ron was saying. I just saw the men paying the boss price.
Say what Ron said. I beg.
So basically, what Ron was saying is that when you look at the advice that these motivational speakers, the Kevin Samuels and all of that were saying, and the way that everybody was hyping, you think is every kind of man that the advice was for. But you actually come to realize that it's not. It has to be, you have to be a certain kind of man for that advice to be for you. You have to be a man who is earning a certain amount of money. You have to be a man who has a certain kind of standing in society. That kind of thing. For you to be able to say to a woman, you are not what my high level kind of level. Or you know what? Sit down at home and don't go to work. I'll be giving you $50,000 every month. You have to be a certain kind of man to do that. So, but a lot of men that are out there, not everyone, a lot, they don't have that kind of power in any way, shape, or form. But they want to be making high value man demands on women. So he's now saying that, are you able to pay the price to be a boss, to be making boss demands?
Well, first of all, my own opinion, and this also for my little life experience I have in life, because I never even start life, you know. I don't start life. Um, to me, there is nothing like boss demand in a relationship or marriage. Um, the moment someone, either the man or the woman, asks or think he has what it takes or she has what it takes to make demands like sit at home. For some of us, going to work is not because of the money or because we want to pay school fees. It is for our own self, yeah, I mean English here.
Actualization.
Actualization, and also our personal
Self-fulfillment.
life vision. You know, I mean, how will I go just sit for house? You know, that's why I can't understand
I
trophy
had a
wife.
vision before I met you now. So
Do
my
you
vision should
understand?
die.
I have a purpose I am to fulfill in life. Getting married alone is not a purpose. That's why
Abby
even
did not.
in the Bible we have
Sorry,
women like
she
Esther,
didn't
like
complete. Sorry, Omolara, she didn't complete the definition. When I specifically said that when they tell you to stay at home, right? It doesn't mean
mm,
you go and sit your ass on the chair and be watching TV. Sometimes
so
it
what
could be
am I
doing.
doing at home?
No, no. For instance, sit at home could mean have a convenient business where you can be generating your own money as long as it doesn't affect the chemical balance of the home, like the house. As long as you can take care of the children and the home, you can do whatever business you like, at least as so far as you are available. That's what that means, not
Ron,
going.
is there any business that will not affect chemical
Wait, hold
balance?
on. That's even contradicting, because business or no business, working only for some people that have some sort of, even if you're a doctor, you still can move around your shift. You as a person knows that you have to be part of your children's life. I'm not talking about the few exceptions that women that are just gotten off the rail, because these are like the normal expectation or the normal stuff you expect in a marriage, is that even though I have my career, you have your career, we both should create time to train our children, because it's not a one-way thing. In as much as it's the woman, in my own opinion, the woman builds the home, but it does not mean that it has to be complete absence from the man. But as I was saying before, I do not and I would never subscribe to any relationship whereby, because one of the partners has more money, especially when it comes to money, I'm very, very is it sensitive, or what do you call it? Thinks that because you feel that whatever I'm making for my business or my career, now where they live for abroad, say I'm coming home, I have a 3 digit, I be 6 digit, you guys call it,
Mm.
annually, and you can afford to give me the 6 digit annually, then I should just start doing baking cake and be supplying to other moms in school, instead of doing that job that I want to do, that is my profession. I believe that that is no longer marriage to me. It's for me, it's completely out of what the definition of marriage is all about. Because before the children, like we know, as a Christian that I am and a Muslim, the children came as the gift of God. There is first of all you and I in the marriage, and any marriage whereby we cannot help each other to achieve and maximize our life ambitions and vision and mission, then we're not compatible in the first place. So it's not just all about money. Now I understand that for some women, they do not have substance. Unfortunately, a lot of these women are in the world right now that they just want to have money, look nice, go out, party. They call them trophy wives. I understand that. But if we're talking about real people, real women, real men that are in a relationship or partner or partnership, whatever you call it, marriage, you cannot just come to me and say you want to be a boss and then you'll be paying for it. I'm not something you bought off the shelf. It should be you are getting your PhD. If my own PhD is the fact that I want to have 20 farms in Nigeria, then you support me with it, because that support that I need is so that it does not affect our children and it does not affect the upbringing of our children, I don't subscribe to. I'm sorry, that's why I don't listen to most of these people, all
Can
this
I ask,
BS
can I ask,
they talk about. It's and to people that listens to
can I ask you?
um you know,
Wait, wait.
motivational
Ron,
Let me ask,
Ron,
speakers.
hold on. Ron, hold on. Let her finish.
People that listens to motivational speakers is at your own peril, because there is no two relationships that are the same. That's it. What I
okay,
want in life is different from what Wonder Queen wants. What Ron wants in a woman or marriage is different from what Kelly wants in a marriage. So this thing is, I mean, I'm not saying you can't pick from people's mistakes or pick from what people are saying, but you just have to
I don't want you to
design.
go too far. I don't want you to go too far. I just want to ask this question. Simple question. If you're in a marriage, right? You're in a
Mm,
situation where the guy is over capable, he's a six-figure man, very rich, and he says that when you start having children, he doesn't want his children to be going to crash at 6 months old. Doesn't want his children to be going to crash at 1 year old, 2 year old. That he wants the
mm,
children to have grounded training before they enter conventional schools. That's nursery schools, primary schools. Are
mm.
you saying that you're going to tell him though that your career cannot wait, that you must go and do that career while your child goes to crash? Meanwhile, he's a millionaire. He has a big corporation that is running.
Let me answer
May
you.
I ask? May I ask
Let me,
something, please?
Let
Shebi,
her answer then.
let me
no, no, no. I just want to add something to what you just said. Shebi is the one that wants grounded kiniko.
let me
It's him that
answer.
wants it, Abi. And why is it here at home doing it then? He's the one
This
that
is
wants it.
sorry. You see why I don't allow you to ask some certain questions. I
I knew
just
you were
said
going to say
no,
something. Oh,
hold
yeah,
on,
about
hold on,
sexy.
hold
Carry
on.
go.
You said so that you didn't complete the whole thing. I said that the man is sorry. Let's say Dangote, for instance, so
I
that we
don't
don't
care
have
whether he's
hold
the
on,
king
hold
of all
on,
the money.
hold on. Let's say it's Dangote, for instance. He's who he is, and he marries you, and he says, you know what? I see what's going on in the world today. I don't want my children to start going to school at 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years. I want them to be home grounded. So you're telling me that because you have to exercise your feminine right, you must tell him that no, that you two must stay at home and watch the child.
Kelly,
Then it's
hold
million.
on, hold on. First of all, this has nothing to do with feminine right. First
Yeah,
off.
that's why I need you
Now,
to
before, hold
yourself.
on. It has nothing to do with feminine right. Let's not get it twisted. Before me, I will marry somebody, we would have plans and what we intend to do and how we intend to bring our children up. Normally, in my own book, in my own children, and that is why it's always good to plan your life. Once I have a child, once I have one child, that's 2 years of my career life gone, not gone, reduced to 30%. Me as a person. Now, let me answer the question you ask. You see, children, it's both of us that has the children now. He cannot just wake up and say, leave your work, come and stay in the house. I don't want my children to go to creche. When you know that you want your children to go to creche, why didn't you bring it up with me before we started making children to be sure that it is okay with me?
Answering the question the same way Abby answered it, and that's why I put context into it. I said he's a six-figure man with a big
It does
corporation.
not matter if he's
Hold
a
on,
nine-figure man. It's
wait,
not about the money. You are
hold
getting it
hold
wrong.
on.
It's not about the
We are
money.
trying
It's
to be
not about
realistic.
the
So
money.
hold on. We are trying to be realistic here. Somebody owns a corporation, and you are his wife,
We are being
and you are
realistic. Oh, I freaking worked out on a multi-billionaire as a partner. It's not about the
homosexual.
money. It's not about the
We
money.
know. You see, I know your capacity. I know your capacity.
No,
We are
it's
not
not about my
personality.
capacity. You see,
Okay,
this is why I get
wait,
very, very on the edge
wait,
with most men.
wait, wait,
It's
wait,
not
wait.
about the money and it's not about feminism. It is about the simple fact that we are in a relationship. In as much as you are the head, I deserve to be in the know of what we are going to do, even
We've
before we start having children. You can't come at me and say because you have money, then
can
I
we
should
finish?
put my career on hold and
Okay, hold
become
on.
a teacher. To even start with, me, I know Sabi teach.
Okay, have you finished? Let me ask the question again because I think we are adding what I didn't add inside the equation. You're already married. This guy is richer than you. He has the money. He has a corporation, right? Then you have to have a child, right? And he says that I'm not disturbing your whatever, but my child must not go to crash at 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years. So now your answer is that he should leave his Dangote corporation and come and sit down with you. So 2 of you be
Is
watching
that
the child.
what God?
No, that's not the stop being
Ron,
facetious. This serious.
I will answer you
I'm
again. Before we will get married, there
Mm.
will be an agreement. That's one. Secondly, this topic is not about the money. Is it the only person that has a career?
But that's not. You've not answered the question. The question
I
is,
have.
would you still send your child to
I
crash
will send
at
my
6 months?
child to a crash. Worst
Okay,
case
no problem.
scenario, worst case scenario, since he has the money, let us hire a private teacher.
Okay,
Let the
Ivan.
private teacher be
or
coming
build
home to
crash.
teach the child.
Okay, no problem, no problem. That's the answer. All right, if I so that we can cycle around and jump to the next
Yeah, I was
this thing.
waiting. So if you
If
were
I
next, yes.
if I please
Ron, what's your question?
no.
I'm having a whole lot of problem putting everything you're saying into context because you're how would I put it? I'm very careful when I say these things, but you're jumbling up a whole lot of issues here. The first issue I can see you're jumbling off is one of leadership. So
No,
why
well, we've
whenever
not come
people
to that
react,
yet.
Let him
whenever
speak
whenever
now.
hold on,
Let him speak.
whenever people react, listen to what they're reacting to. And why I say listen to what they're reacting to is I've had Abby, I've had Omolola react, and what they're reacting to is how you said what you said. It's not what you said. It's not that you told them that they'll leave their career and sit down and take care of their children. Women want to do that, but it's how you said it. So how you said it is I have you listen to these words. I have a multinational, a multi-billion company. Ego. I make six figures. Yes. Because of my status, I am telling you that my children should not go to a crèche. So I'm saying that you should come and take care of my children. That's what you're saying. Now,
Your life is more
if you
valuable than
know,
our own.
yeah, that's what they're hearing. It is not what you're saying; it's what they're hearing.
Okay, say
Hold on,
it in the way
hold
they
on,
would like to hear it, so
hold
that
on.
maybe.
I'm getting to somewhere. I'm getting somewhere. That's what they're hearing. But now, if I'm reading a book, a very interesting book, it's The Inner Game of Tennis by Tim Galloway, and he said something. When you think about a tennis game, you know when somebody serves, you play tennis. When somebody serves, if you serve, if somebody gets the service, the guy that got the service feels is an ace, right? As in he did well. The guy that missed the service feels he didn't do well. But you see, the umpire has the unprivileged place of being without bias. He cannot think the service is good or bad. He can only just think of that incident the serve has been served. Now, bringing it to this place is this. What if we change how you were saying what you were saying and ask them this question again? Would their response be different? So, what if I said that as devoid of what I have, and I ask my partner and I say, Madam, we're having children, and it would be nice for these children to be brought up in a very stable environment. I don't like them going to crèche and the rest of them. And I see that you're capable of doing this thing. Would you be willing to sacrifice and do it? And I will support you. What do you think the answer will be? It's just a
No, he's
question,
a
food
high
for
title
thought.
man. He cannot talk like that.
No, what do you think the answer will be? Why did I say this? It's because it's like shouting you're stupid and saying, oh boy, this thing where you say it's this stupid. Oh. It's like that's what you're just doing to the room. That's what I'm saying. That's what I feel that is happening. So it is not the question. It's how is the question being asked? Again, it boils down to individual. How was your relationship with this woman first before you ask this question? And should you even want to ask this question? Now, again, that's why I said I tied it back down to leadership. You know who you marry. Now you go carry her from your papa house, marry her. So you know how to address these things. So you know how to step back and bring this proposal to the table. Again, your proposal also is ignoring the fact that whether we like it or not, times are changing. Now, times changing doesn't change the quality of a thing. A stone is a stone. A stone is hard. A stone is this thing. But it changes if we can use stone for walls or stone for road. What that means is the characteristics of a thing. Truth is truth. Lie is lie. Honesty is honesty. It doesn't change it, but it changes how do we approach this matter. So what I feel here is the ladies are reacting because of how you said the matter and the way you said the matter. Trust me, we're not going to finish this topic today. That aside, coming to now, are you paying the price to be boss? Like you said, husbands, are you paying the price to be boss? Me, I get questions before I answer that one. Can you define what it is to be boss, I beg? Because I need to know what it is to be boss first. 2, can we also define what it is to be husband? And then, are the two synonymous? Are they related? Do they convey the meaning of both roles? Is the husband a boss? Is the boss a husband?
Okay, let me quickly answer you so that we don't go too far. One, the way you said that the question was put but was not palatable to the listeners. It's where are you? Okay, so
I'm very
now
much
you need. Sorry, you need to understand certain things about this dynamics. Most men who ask their wives to sit at home and take care of children, they don't start it halfway in the marriage. It's usually something you understand before you get in. However, just like most agreements are seldom adhered to, somebody can wake up tomorrow and change his or her mind. For instance, when you were dating or when you're about to get married, you told her, see what I want, I will take care of you. I know you are a nuclear scientist, but if you can just stick to this plan of raising these kids to a certain place, go and do whatever you need to do, I'll support you. There's always a plan like that. But what we see is that halfway into the beginning of that relationship or marriage, for some reason, like you said, the world is changing, the house too will change. The person say, no, I thought about it that time, but I don't feel like it now. I want to go and work. Then the commotion starts. That's why I was looking at it. Technically, in marriage, nobody just wakes up and starts something. A lot of things are usually discussed before marriage. Whether it's a poor man's marriage, a rich man's marriage, there's always going to be a discussion before marriage, whether you like it or not. So the context here now, and the reason why we brought this in is because of the definition of the high value man and the boss who wants his house to be in a certain, he wants his household to move in a certain direction. I'm not saying women go and disrespect your husbands. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying go and disrespect your poor husband or your no any. That's not what I'm saying. Please, nobody should twist my words. All I'm saying is that you get more when you bring more to the table as a man. You cannot be struggling, right? Struggling to keep afloat in your home, and yet you tell your wife to sit down, don't do anything, and stand up. See, it doesn't work. It's counterintuitive. It never ever work. You're only going to meet backlash. However, if you can meet up certain needs as a man, and you know that the other issue is trivial, like the other issue is not really that deep for the other person to comprehend, the person might, and the key word here is might. The person might cooperate, but the person will never cooperate when there's nothing at stake for her. Never. I see it happen all the time. And that's where I was going to with this. I'm not like, go and be disrespecting your husband. No. That's not. I know many women who respect their husbands who are average. Many, 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 many. But now we are trying to be practical here. We're trying to be practical. Sorry?
Governor, just a question. You see that what you just said now almost differs from what you said before.
Thank you.
It's very like it's not in breaking it down and explaining it now.
Yes, no, it's not the same thing, Ron.
Hold on. In breaking it down and explaining what you meant, right? You realize that you have just said a different thing from when you came, and the room isn't heated. The room is actually quiet, listening to you.
I still have plans to heat up the room. Don't come with
No,
that.
no, but I
One
understand. I
experience is
understand.
going to
But
cause
I'm just
bad
saying.
buzz
No, I'm
today.
not saying whether
Yeah.
you're not going to cause bad
No,
goods
no,
or
I
not.
have plans.
There's
Don't
still
worry
going
about
to
it.
there's plans. There's plans to cause bad goods. But I'm just saying that you realize that what I was just saying is this. It's my whole point about what you're saying was simply is leadership is different now and is redefined.
Hmm.
And it is requiring that men become adults in the room to avoid, you see, that this backlash back and forth. And to become that adult in the room means that I frame the questions differently as opposed to how I would have framed it.
Hmm.
So if I told you I earn 6 figures, I earn 7 figures, I do this is what I want. But if I tell you that this is the picture that I have of our family and this is how you can contribute to it and let it
Which
move
is
forward, which
which
is
is the
easier for you to accept.
it's easier when you started in the beginning of the marriage. You tell the woman, listen, this is what I want. Do you want to move in this direction? If she says yes, we move. If she says no, thanks for
In
giving me
recent
your time.
in recent times, somebody gave me a leadership challenge, and I'll give it to you. He said, would you rather have compliance out of fear or compliance out of there's a way you put it, out of culture?
Wait, is it fear and love?
No,
Compliance with-
they use those words. Would you have compliance out of fear or compliance out of culture?
I'll get back to you so that we don't waste time. I'll answer that
No, don't
question. Don't
waste
worry.
time. No problem. No problem.
Mr.
Okay,
Okay, I think
Mr.
let me.
Consequence, you're next.
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Good evening.
Personally, I don't see a
Wait,
problem with how.
before Oga Consequence say anything, may I tell him, say, when I don't keep me awake for these few nights, when they ask all those plenty questions, you are wrong. When I don't allow me to answer one question,
Oh, you did
what's
like.
trouble?
All
No
right.
wahala.
So, anyways, for me, right, I don't have a problem with how Mr. Ron framed the question. Okay, and I'll tell you why I say I don't have a problem with that. This is what I heard him say. He said, "What if your husband, okay, what if your husband is wealthy?" Hence the six-figure analogy. What if your husband is wealthy and he says to you that, in this next 6 months, I've been at 1 year, okay, could you take a break from this career thing to be in the life of our child? Picking with me and you get together. Okay? Can you, take a break for 1 year and be in the life of the child? That was what I heard. Is that the question that you asked, Mr. Ron?
Glad somebody was listening.
Oga Consequence, see, if Ron had asked this question the way you framed this question, we won't be having this argument. That's my point. Even you,
Well, that's
frame
what
am.
I heard because I think, because
Even you
Mr.
frame
Ifeanyi,
am.
I
Even
think,
you frame am.
Mr. Ifeanyi, I think the problem that you had by listening to you, the problem you had with the question is the introduction of the word of the man. That
No,
was
the
what I was
question.
hearing
No,
from
no,
you.
no, no.
That
But
which was
here's the
why
thing.
you said
Here's what
the
you
void
did.
of.
But here's what you did. You did something beautiful. You took away the egos and framed the role and framed the question. It's like when you're talking to a child, when your papa they talk to you now, they rake. The first one be like say your papa they rake. The second one this one where you yarn now, be like say your papa don't tell you say, okay, see you for see how you put it, 6 months to this pikin where we born. You realize it's like talking to a team and being a boss. It's a different ball game. I don't
You
know
know,
if you guys are
you know,
hearing it, but between
Mr.
Ron,
Ifeanyi,
me,
when
and
Whoever is
you,
on the phone, please mute yourself.
Okay, fine. Let him
uh,
finish. Then you can take.
Mr. Ifeanyi, because when I
consequences.
listened to your response to that, I think one thing you picked out is you started by saying the void of your what or your how much will you get, because then that just, which was what led me to thinking that the problem that you have with the question is the money part, where you said 6 figure. You think that is an ego thing, but the way I'm saying it, this is how I am saying it. This is how I am saying it. I think why Ron hammered on the 6 figure thing is to just let clarify that this is not a poor man asking the wife to not also work, which will now be double poor people, right? He's trying to say that, okay, listen, this is a wealthy man, okay? This is a wealthy man, and because I'm wealthy, I think we can afford to not work for 6 months and it wouldn't affect our finances. I'm thinking this is why Mr. Ron had to introduce the 6-figure, 7-figure, I mean,
All of you bring
figure you
down
want to
your
call it, right?
answer. Let's
Because if the man is poor, if the man is poor, okay, if the man is poor and the man at the same time, the poor man is also asking the wife to stop working, then we have a disaster in the making. If the man is poor and the man is asking the wife to also stop working, so that means we have a poor man about to stop a woman or his wife from working, which I expect double poverty. And how do you then raise the child that you're trying to cater to? But if we are dealing with the man, say, which was right, he actually mentioned Dangote, right? He said Dangote, right? Okay, suppose the Dangote. And what is this thing with Dangote? I don't think it's an ego thing. I think he was just trying to say that 6 months, 1 year, don't worry, it wouldn't take a toll on your finances. Okay, it wouldn't take a toll on our finances. All right. Okay, here's what's going to happen for this 6 months, 1 year. Guess what? We might just do very fine, no problem. This is why I think Mr. Ron is hammering on the 6-figure parts. My take, right? That was what I was thinking, and hence why I said I don't have a problem with the question. Now, maybe the problem might even be, you see, there is this unnecessary battle where they go on between men and women these days. Where they, the battle, know when you sit down analyze them, the battle, know they necessary. Okay, we say whenever man says something, right? In for some, you can't. You know, go neutralize man and man, however you want make it be, man and man. So whenever men say certain things that sound very masculine, all right, I see this reaction from women as if instead of listening to what he said and listening to if there is truth or benefits for both of you, even you, okay, from what he said, we usually pay more attention to because he said it in the masculine voice. Okay, he said and 6 figures, and for the sake, can you not work for 6 months and then be in the life of our child? I'm not saying come and serve me for 6 months. I'm simply saying be in the life of the child that you and I make. You know why? Children who has the presence of their parents in their life statistically tend to do better than children with absent parents. And when
I'm
we talk
sorry, you're
about
saying
abuse,
totally different from what Ron said.
okay, hold on. Hold on.
Crash.
Hold on. And when we talk abuse, okay, we have, we have come to understand that majority of the abuse that people suffer from are usually from people around them, not from strangers, but from people around you. And the world is going crazy today. People you'll be hearing the news you hear today is safe. The news you hear today about things that they do to small children. If you get the opportunity as a father or a mother to be in the life of your child, you should actually, if it is not going to cause you financial strain, you should actually do it. Because at the end of the day, why would they get married? We will know they remain boyfriend and girlfriend. It's just to build or to survive, right? Sustain a legacy. And whatever our children become, now waiting the society will eventually become be that. I think I'll leave it there.
Okay. Then it's good that everyone has spoken. So now
want
there
to
are just a few things. Wait. I'll even go back to it. Now, the thing I need to clarify is that now you have said the question in a totally different way. He didn't mention 6 months to 1 year. He didn't mention all of that. It was a case of I'm a man.
No.
I
said
earn this amount of money, and you, my wife, are going to sit down.
Wait,
And
everybody, did I say 6 months? 1 year?
Wait. Let me finish. I listen to everybody. Let me clarify something. When in church, let me use church since most of us now are not church. Most, no, I'm not saying everybody. When in church, you'll be hearing, may God give you a Proverbs 31 kind of woman. Go and read Proverbs 31. She be woman where they sit down for us. She's not a woman who sits down at home. That's number one. Number two, you will see men, they will make agreement and say, okay, let us agree that you will stay at home for we want 2 children, Abby. Okay, you stay at home for the 2 children to grow up to a certain level. Then when she has a second child, the child is moving to that level. And I say, you know, we only have girls. Let's try one more. The plan don't change, oh. Not be the woman changer. Or it will be a case of, you know what, you're already at home and everything. And do you know how many women are at businesses that they are failing, that their husbands have insisted on creating for them, without really putting into consideration whether it is what they want to do or not? And I think I asked you that question. I paid bride price. I paid bride price for my wife. Do you seriously think that the change you gave to her family is equivalent to her entire lifetime? But you hear men be shouting, I paid bride price, so I'm the master, I'm the one to be saying things in the house. Really? Many people here, me, I'm not married, so it's in what bad I can say. But the people who are here that are speaking, even in the comments, I say, there is no you are saying, I want you to stay at home. What is your own value in the life of the child? If I'm sitting at home, there are men, there are rich, stupidly rich men who still take their children to school, who do homework with their kids, who are there. Sometimes when the wife is indisposed, one way or the other, they make food for their kids, they do. But you see
When
all
the
these
wife is
high
indisposed,
men,
when the
all
wife
these
is
rich men.
indisposed, that's a different thing. When the wife is indisposed.
What? Sorry, what is
Is
it that
it?
you said about wife indisposed?
Oh, you said there are men who would make food when their wife is indisposed or something. Okay, yeah, true. Should we then switch roles? Okay, should we switch roles? Is roles important in? Do we consider
Which
roles
one
to
is
be
should
an
we
important
switch role?
mechanism
So to
towards the
put food
strike?
inside your own house, to cook food in your house, it is role. To put food that people will eat in your house, it is
Please,
Oh,
can
role.
I
but you just
respond to
agreed.
something
Even
that
Okay,
Kenny has
Babu
said?
your
Allah, let
statement,
me leave
Abby.
it for the people who are
Ye-
married.
Leave it for the people who are married. Sorry, it's not
Please,
complicated.
Kelly, first of all, I need to correct one notion. Women did not become what they are today in marriage because the men had been behaving themselves. The reason why it seems and feels like the moment a man says something, women go on the defensive side is because there has been too many incidents of men maltreating women in marriage from the days of our fathers. There's been so
Be
many
careful.
stories. Hold on, Kelly.
Even,
Nobody
it's not
had
the
come after my gender as much as I have when it is the truth. I knew, not knew, some of these women are still alive. I still know at least about 5 women today that they are already dead while they are alive. And what has happened to them? It is because of all the unfulfilled promises and disappointments from their men, from their husbands. That one, I'm not even going to argue that with anybody. We have seen so many stories of a man, me and my wife, they work, he has told wife to stay in the house. At the end of the day, he died, car accident. They brought 5 children from outside. Same age group as the ones in the house. Now there is the heartbreak. Oh, my husband has been cheating. He's not only been cheating, he's been having children at the same time as we were having children, meaning that this woman's entire life has been a false, it's been a lie. Too many stories like that. Now, let's come back home a bit. So please, forgive me if most women get on the defensive when a man tries to rule over their life or tell them to drop work and come and stay at home. It's just, I don't like having that conversation. Now, to respond to what you said, Kelly, 6 months, 1 year in some people's career, dropping out of the line has ended their career. If, for instance, is that not me?
Can someone switch
Some,
mute themselves if their phone is ringing, please?
say, for instance, you work with KPMG and you've not given notice. And then because your husband earns 6 units, all of a sudden you come, you say you want to go for 1 year. Good luck to you. So we can't just sit here and generalize because somebody is earning 6 units or 6 digits. For some women, is not about the money. Just like Ifeanyi said, it is a whole concept on its own. It's something we need to sit down and discuss. What sort of career is it that this man is into? What negative effect will it have on this woman if she suddenly drops out of work? And I'm not just talking about money. All of these factors has to be put in place. And when you're talking about creche, my darling, there is something called homeschooling. These children don't necessarily, and it's not all mothers that can teach. Where do people get that impression from? I can't teach to save my life. Me, that I'm here, I know it. I can't teach children. I do teach adults. I do trainings for adults. But give me my own pikin to come and teach. I go beat that child. No, as in sit, don't sit, get up, So you can't just say because you earn 6 digits, you want your wife to stay at home and be teaching your child ABC. Now Teletubbies go teach that child, if not me.
And I'm a man, not man, not man.
You understand? Meanwhile, I have seen some men that even with their 8, 9 digits, they still make out time to spend quality time with their children. So can we just stop this?
We are repeating. I think we are cycling in the same direction. Let me clear something.
So my point is not about the money.
Let's have finish.
Let her
finish.
Okay, all right.
There are so many factors that are into it. As a woman, as a man, you call your wife. She tells you, okay, this is what you have in your head. What about if this is not what I have in my head? Remove the money factor out of it. Remove the fact that you can pay for. Would you not look out for your wife and your daughter or your son, even if you are earning 2 digits? It has to be a mutual agreement, and it's not like, oh, the man is asking you to come and be part of your child's life. He's actually doing you a favor. No, he's not.
Sorry,
he doesn't want. But Ron, okay, yeah, you have the floor.
Okay, Abby, you were raising up your hand.
Wait, I'll go back to Abby. Let me address something so that we don't cycle out. See, we were talking about rich men. Nobody brought in the issue, and I was very specific, and that's why I always spend my time to speak all this English. And everybody say I talk too much. I set the parameters very clearly. The parameters was somebody who is earning well, a high value person. I was very, very clear. I didn't say any man. I didn't say any man with male genitalia. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that this person is capable of handling the family. And again, maybe fine, you say the way I present it is not nice for the hearing of women or anything.
No, don't get it.
It's not about the money. It's not about nice.
Let me finish. The only reason we're having this debate here is because we are here on live. In reality, the way it works is that a very, very super rich man sees somebody. Now, I'm talking about super wealthy. A super wealthy meets a lady. No matter how much he loves the lady, he's going to address what he wants. He'll say, please, I love you so much. This is the direction I want us to go. I hope you can see things in my way. Now, one important thing we keep missing here and we keep jumping over is that every woman has the right to say, no, I don't want it. This is not the life I want for myself. I'd envision something greater for myself. So in that instance, the woman has to cut loose and say, no, sorry, you're not the man for me. I'm going to find and she can find another billionaire that can take care of. You listen to her need, accede to her wants. It's possible. But we are saying here now that from beginning, this thing was stated. Then halfway into the journey, when children start coming, all of a sudden you realize that the career is more important than.
So is it only women that change mouths in relationships? A man cannot tell a woman, okay, I agree with you, this one, and then he changes mouth.
Hey, don't get bent out of shape. We are top.
I'm not bent out of shape. I'm asking a question. Why do you always put in my emotions in anything I'm asking?
Hold on. Stick to the subject. Yeah.
This is the subject I asked. So a man cannot change his mouth after telling agree with his wife that, okay, this is how many children we will have. This is how we want to train them. And he cannot change his mouth along the line and say, no, I want more children.
Good. Now, I'm happy you brought this subject up because I heard somebody, I can't remember if it was Omolara or you. One of you said something about the man dying, then you see extra children. I think it was one of you that said so.
It was Amala.
Okay. Now, please, nobody, we are discussing life issues here. Please, this is not Ron's belief or what Ron wants men to do. That's not, we tend to discuss everything here. We discuss everything in scope,
Yeah.
right? There are instances where a man is getting married, and jokingly, he and the woman, they are agreeing that, okay, how many children do you want? The guy said, I want two children, two girls, one boy, or one girl, two boys, depending on the ratio. They say, okay, let's have them. For some reason, now, for some reason, maybe medical complication, she has just one child, and maybe she can't give birth to other children. I'm just talking about people. I'm not talking about children of God. I'm not talking about responsible men. I'm not talking about holy people now. I'm talking about basic people.
You don't even
Now,
have to have a medical thing. We agreed three. Three it is.
good. Now, for whatever reason, the woman has her one, then maybe she discovered. I'm just giving anecdote. Then for some reason, the woman just says, that last one I had, it affected my medical career. So for that reason, I'm not having any other children. Then she sabotages every effort to have kids, right? Then maybe the man is not the type that does it. Happens, though. We've seen it happen.
Yeah, of course. But
So
what about the woman that has the agreed three?
Let's
Then
go.
the man says, I
no,
want one more.
I'm giving instances here. I'm giving instances here.
And
And
I
that's why
instance I've given you now.
That's why I'm giving a disclaimer that I'm not endorsing any of this behavior, right? I've seen it happen. Then the man, because he doesn't talk, he just keeps quiet and allows her to be running career and doing lifting up and going to wherever it is she's going. Then that kind of man later on goes behind to have other kids, right? Then tomorrow, the man doesn't even have to die. You find out for some reason. Then the whole world goes behind the man and say, "Oh, this man is evil. This man is bad." But when you go to the nitty gritty and the bottom of the issue, you find out that there was an agreement in place which was violated. Now, that is from the man's end. Now, let's go to the woman's end. There are instances where the woman will be like, please, I love my career. Would you, if I finish doing one or two children, would you allow me to continue? Then the man says, fine, sure, I'll allow you, no problem. I'll support you. I'll do whatever you need to get to the top, right? Then after the three children, for some reason, maybe out of bitterness, envy, jealousy, whatever, the man starts stalling and wasting her time and ensuring that she doesn't continue her career. Then the woman does something drastic and stupid. Then everybody say, oh, the woman is a bad woman. So at the end of the day, it boils down to honoring agreements, either from the man's side or from the woman's side. It's all about honoring agreements. And this issue of my career comes first. Please, if you're a single person and you need to get married and you know your career comes first, whoever it is you want to marry, make sure that you tell the person that your career comes first. Don't hide it. Don't pretend. Don't say you're looking for a husband, then you come and sneak your way inside, then you come and start doing career woman. If you know you want to be a career, tell the guy you want to marry, let him know, so that there won't be a problem that I am a career woman, my career comes first. Simple. And that's where I was going with all this. Okay, sorry.
I have a question for you. Can you hear me properly?
Yes.
My question is, in the last 5 years to now, or 10 years to now, do you know what whatever you're doing now, do you know that you're going to do it?
5 years from now?
No. So 10 years ago or 5 years ago, whatever you are doing now, as of today, do you know that that's what you're going to do?
Not necessarily.
Okay, so why did that change? Do you have do you have a goal 10 years ago?
Oh, okay. I get where you're going to. For marriage, I had a plan, and we both had a plan, and we are sticking to our plans.
No, I'm not talking for marriage now. And I know that the concept that you are focusing on in marriage, but you see, when we're talking, we have to look at everything we are talking holistically, that we are talking to human being and not some kind of statue that whatever you are going to say is yea and amen. Let me finish. Just like if a man decides tomorrow now that he has already that he decides to get married to somebody else, or he decides to do something else, people think, okay, maybe there's a reason why he did it. Maybe the woman is not doing this, maybe this. And as much as that is painful to the recipient, right? As much as it's painful to the recipient, but there is also a school of law that will look at maybe there's just like an underlying not agreements that something has happened. So in a nutshell, what I'm saying is that when you every factor that you're talking about, first you talk about the money, if the man is a high earning man, high value man, and all of that. But the high value man is not talking to a statue. Even though he's a high value man, they've discussed this, but people's priorities, people's needs. If you say that you're going to have 4 children, now inflation is here. It's going to be
Twins, Unka.
to have 4 children. Inflation is here. Wisdom depicts that you now review if you still want to have 4 children. So you won't say because you already have it planned. And let it not be that is you. Maybe you are the man. You already agree, you and your wife, that you're going to have 4. But you looking at the whole situation now, you now say that me being the man, no, I have to make some economic, financial decision for our family. You know what? We are sticking to 3. And your wife is one that now has children. Would you continue and let her have that child when you have already looked at this financial situation of things? Even
Okay,
though
let me
I
answer
mean,
the
not
question.
even that. There are some
Let me answer
women
you.
that pregnancy is extremely dangerous and difficult for. So you
I
now say
agree.
because me and you plans to have 3, whether
Sorry,
you die,
sorry.
you must have that 3.
Let me answer her question. She asked the question.
so let
Wait,
me
let
put generally so that you can answer everything together. So at the end of the day, what I am looking at is the fact that no matter how rich somebody is, right? Marry your kind. If you want a mumu wife, marry the wife. If you want a wife that is up and doing, marry that person. If you want somebody that you just tell that sit down and all of that, like you said, don't pretend. Like for I didn't marry a high value man. My ex wasn't earning 6 figures, but I remember that when I was pregnant, just wait. I have a reason why I'm sharing that. When I was pregnant, I before I became pregnant, I always go to work every day. Like I love working, not because of just money, but because of self-fulfillment. And then when I was pregnant, because the pregnancy was disturbing me, each time I want to go and work, he's going to tell me, no, I'm going to pay you. I can't allow you to take the baby. You're going to risk yourself. You're going to risk the baby. Now, I listened because I was like, okay, I don't want to fall. I don't want anything to happen to me. I don't want anything to happen to the baby. He's not earning 6 figures, but I had to look at the thing based on the situation on ground. So I accepted that offer. Now, when I had the baby, as at that time, I was already going gaga. Gaga by sitting down at home. Ever since I was born, I have never seen anything that will make me sit down at home. As if I was sick, I don't sit down. So now telling me to sit down, for me, it was affecting my mental health, no matter how you try to give me all the money in the world. And guess what? It was giving me the money. But I said, excuse me, sir, I need to go out. I need to go and work. No matter, even if it's just 2 hours, let me just leave baby, leave everybody. I don't want to hear baby cry. I don't want to hear anything. I just want to go for fresh air. I want to go and listen to something different. Now you're telling me I value. So even if he is not earning 6 figures and he has house help, because we have people that could help carry the child and all of that. But what was important in this discussion wasn't about him alone. It's about the person, which is what I'm trying to say. Like next, when we are talking, we should look at the validity that, okay, we are talking about human being. Is this person, even if I've said, yes, I will be sitting down at home, and the thing is affecting my mental health, am I not allowed to change? Am I not allowed to say that, excuse me, sir, can we review this thing? This is what I am saying also.
No, you're a low value
Okay,
woman. You
so
must listen to what your high
sorry,
value man says.
let me answer the question. One, the initial questions you were asking doesn't fit into the parameters I generated. For instance, I clearly said that a rich person, like somebody who is capable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's something you missed in all this discussion, and it's very important.
What
Is
is
the
it?
key word there is choice. Choice. You don't have to listen to the rich man, and you don't have to marry him.
If we already agree, what if as at that time I am happy to agree with it,
No,
but
no,
along
I'm
the
coming.
way,
Let's establish that one first. Hold on. Let's
what
wait. Hold on.
Yeah, but
Hold on.
You know, you said
Let's
a
Doing
husband
that.
said to his
But
wife,
Ron,
they're
doing
already
that, yes,
married
yes.
though.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm coming.
If you're doing
Let's
doing
establish.
that, you're twisting the
No,
parameters you
no.
set.
If I stop taking
Yes,
us back
they're
and forth.
twisted because you said husband said to his wife. But now
Hold
you're
on.
saying,
Hold on. Let's get something clear. Very, very clear. Let's start. Let's take it one after the other. One. You don't have to marry the person. You have a choice. You know the choice you have and the power you have. The choice is saying, sorry, I can't deal with this. This is not my person. Full stop. And it ends there.
This was why
Okay.
I asked you 10 years ago question that do you know what you're going to do 10 years ago? So I can say yes to it. I can say
I'm
yes.
sorry.
You said they were already married.
No,
Husband to
I'm
wife.
going
The question was
no,
after they are
no.
married.
No. It's not about they were already married. I'm going somewhere with this. Now, you have a choice not to. That's the first stage. You don't have to marry the person. Now, if you eventually, now you are saying because you are coming from a sincere point of view, saying that you genuinely agree to it in the beginning. Then later on, situation made you change your position.
Make people change generally. It's not about me. It's about what happened, why people change. Why do people change? They're not robots.
Sorry, does it still follow that situation make you
This is why I'm saying that somebody might agree. A rich man talk to me now and say, "Oh, Abio, this is it, oh," and I agree to that rich man.
We're wasting time. That's why I'm compartmentalizing it for you. One, if you decide that something will change, it's a situation that made it to change, right? Something happened that you could not fulfill your agreement, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me address the one that it was dishonest from beginning. Then I'll address the one that had a factor that changed the mind. That's why I said, please do not pretend from the beginning. I know people, and this is, all of us will agree that people jump into this relationship with deception. They're like, I beg, make I enter. When I enter, I'll control the robot. Agreed? It happens.
It's not necessarily that dealing with the high value man that you have described, though the I6 any man, you know that person is already clever, that person has brain, so you cannot, unless that person is a dummy high value man, which I don't think so. We will not the person can see through your nose if you are lying.
Okay, hold on, Abby. So a man and a woman can pretend to enter a marriage. It doesn't matter the gender. A man or a woman can pretend into a relationship. It happens. We know.
If you're a value man, can someone pretend? This is why I when you were saying high value man, I wanted to understand that you're not saying high value man for just somebody that is rich. I want to believe that an high value man is somebody that is also intelligent. There's somebody that is also smart. It's somebody that knows exactly what they want. And an high value man can see from afar that this is what I want, and is discussing with somebody. And the people are saying as well, they've seen through the nose of
Abby, wait. In life, things fly under the radar. It happens. Even to the best of people. Okay. Now, if a situation warrants you to change your plan, whatever it is, and you feel that you have, for instance, although I'm talking about high value man, let's talk about economics. Something happens, he doesn't earn that kind of money again, and there needs to be money in the house, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't need you to tell him. It's common sense. Madam, don't stop your certificate and go and work. That one is common sense. Well, fortunately, that's the one we're discussing here. We're not discussing
that. The plan cannot change.
That's not what we're discussing now.
You're changing parameters, so don't worry.
Parameters don't they change? I don't go agree.
For things to change for the woman, but it's not okay for things to change for the man.
I'm
not getting it.
So
I was going to.
The problem I have with this thing from the start is, you see, once we talk about relationship and we take the man as the head, also in the context of money, it always never ends well. And this is why
his life has more value. His own life has more value.
Hold on. This is why I keep saying it from the start that, you see, this your question. You should not have added the money aspect to it. It's not about the money. And I'll tell you why it is not. Hold on. I will tell you why it is not.
I don't understand. When we roll it back,
why is it about money? Let him even about the money. The issue is you are making up like your own life. That man's life is more valuable than the life of the woman.
Abby, let me come through. When your great-great-grandparents, were hunters, pay attention to this. When they were hunters, they will go and hunt and farm. They will bring the proceeds, give it to your great-great-grandmothers. Then those one can go and sell in the market oftentimes. Guess what? They can go hunting every day, but the mothers don't go to the market every day to go and sell. This was just rules.
Were you there?
It's common knowledge. Yes.
Cannot
At
Where?
least,
Which
now.
at least.
I've never heard of
You
that
can't
knowledge.
use that theory in
You've
this
never
place.
heard?
It's different.
Okay.
Things have changed.
Even Omola will not deny it. That was how the settings were.
Things have changed.
Okay.
You can't say
Well, I
that
didn't
Yeah,
ever
I
hear
agree
it.
that things have changed. I agree that things have changed. I agree that things have changed.
They were just living their life based on what they make from the farm. You see, this day and now, he said we should be realistic. Let's talk real life, since we're being real with ourselves. So you have a wife who is equally a medical doctor, and you are whatever it is you are. And because you just feel you're earning 7 digits or 9 digits, you just come and change the plan overnight, not
Change
putting
what
it to
plan?
her.
Sorry,
The
change
plan of
what
her life. You think she didn't have anything better to do than when she went to be a
You guys
medical
are
doctor?
being- No, you guys
Hey.
are being disingenuous now.
No.
Let's start
So
again.
when she was training to be a medical doctor, she didn't have plan for her life. She was just waiting for a man to come and change it.
It's like,
that's
oh yeah,
not-
make we no kuku marry, I beg.
No.
Make we marry.
That's not what we said in the beginning. We said that this discussion was had in the beginning. Why are you taking us back? We've already agreed that it was a pre-discussion. Abby even made me.
Who are the
repeat
people
it.
that agreed with you? You said husband to wife, then you changed it. It's you by yourself that agreed with yourself.
Okay, wait.
When I made my first contribution, it was based on the fact that the man came because he's having 6 digits after they have married, and said the woman should leave her job and come and look after the child. That was it. And that was why Ifeanyi said that it is about the way you say it to the woman. If you're making it look like I am the boss, I have the money, drop out of work, it's a different thing from you saying, babe, come, let's talk. I know that when we met, what's that thing? Or would they worry us that time? Now we are in a more comfortable place. I'd even thought of your own career as well. It's not like you're going to be losing out much if you take a 1-year break. If it's a career that she's going to be losing out, I even thought of, I know you're going to be losing out more, but please, for the sake of our family and the sake of our child, could you consider, I'll take as much time as you need to think, staying at home, knowing fully well now that now we don't have the financial issues anymore. You didn't say that. You said that I heard, whether I know they hear well, that the man is like a Dangote now. You see that one first of all. And the man now said that, I no longer want my child to go to creche. I don't want my child to start going to school 9 months.
He didn't say it doesn't long. He didn't say I no longer. I said from beginning. He said I don't want, not no longer.
But this was after they have married. Now it was
no.
Even if after they have married,
when you framed it was after they had married.
Even if after they have married,
he does not have the right to command her. He needs to talk.
Stop saying
to
command.
Her. If
Stop saying command.
It's command.
Stop saying command.
But it's command.
It's not command.
Command. It's command.
A mutual agreement. It has to be.
She has
to accept to do it. It has to be a mutual agreement. And that's why I keep saying it's not
it
about
is a request. Can you? It is a request.
It is a request, Kelly. He has to look at every aspect of their life, our career, his career, the life of their child, the financial implication, the emotional implication, the capability and the fact that if she's capable to actually even school their child in the house. So that's
what high value men do.
It's
not just any man.
Sit as a couple and discuss and come to a conclusion. It is not an order that will come from the man because it's any.
Can I ask a question?
That's just my own opinion.
So what I'm getting from Momolara is that the husband and the wife are virtually equal in decision making, right? That's what you're saying, right?
That goes without saying.
Okay, good. No. I want to ask you a simple question. You watch sports, right? Any sport. It doesn't matter.
I don't watch sports.
Anyone, you understand any sport in this world?
I say I know they watch sports and I'm being serious.
Okay, let me use the sport analogy. In every sport in the world, right? Especially team sports, all players are usually equal, but they must have a captain. They are equal on paper, but listen, let me land. They must have a captain, the first among the equals, who breaks the tie when there's indecision. when there's a decision, when there's a decision to be made at a
That doesn't
critical
come to play in a marriage or in a relationship.
no, hold on.
It doesn't. That one,
Let
and
me
I
finish now. Let me finish. On this earth that we live in and this life that we live in, right? Though they are equal partners, and I always admit to it. The important thing is that when there's a final decision to be made, it has to come from the husband.
no,
He will
we reach
discuss
a
it.
common ground.
Okay, what if there's no common ground? That's the
There
question.
will always be a common ground.
Says
You
who?
see, this is where the problem is.
No,
We
okay,
reach
Ron,
a
wait. I want to ask a
ground.
question. Wait, I want to ask a question. A woman is getting pregnant, but the pregnancy is so bad, it puts her in hospital every time. You know, say because of the top is more equal than the wife. He's not the one carrying the belly, but he's the one who's got to make decision and say, well, you know, we
Happy,
agreed
you're
3
even going
children.
far. It's as simple as this. This is what you want as my husband. Okay. I bring my own line of reasoning and my point of argument. This and this is how I've looked at it financially, physically, mentally, morally, our child in consideration, you in consideration, and all in consideration. I give you my points, you bring your points. That is what is called reaching common ground. Of course, if you have more tick, a reasonable woman would, buy into it. And
when
if
the woman
on
is
your
not
end,
reasonable.
but there is nothing like, well, it's his problem. He married a woman that is not reasonable.
Don't cop out, Amalara, don't cop out. Now let's go to the nitty-gritty. What if the woman is unagreeable and unreasonable? What happens?
That is why I said that. Then that is his cup of tea, because
And
he
then
is the
what
one that
happens?
married a woman that is not reasonable.
I agree with you. What happens? As it don't happen now. Say the woman no
Oh,
get
he would
sense.
have to. Well, it depends on who is stronger in not being reasonable amongst them. Because if she says she's not going to do, will he put gun to her head? She won't do it now.
So basically,
So
you
at the
now
end
see
of
where
the
the
day, who
deadlock.
suffers?
So you see where the family suffers. So you see where the deadlock goes.
So why
You see
can't
where-
he? Why can't he be the head, the bigger head, and also find a way around his wife's stubbornness?
Because in this issue of family dynamics,
Amala, you're not
Bolembe,
serious.
leave that motto, Bolembe. See, the moment the foundation is bad, you live with the consequences. The moment you marry a woman that is not reasonable, you live with it. The moment you marry a man that is not reasonable, you live with it or you take a walk. That's how it works. My own line of
Amala.
argument is, in a relationship, everything should be conversational. It should not be I am the head.
50-50.
Even if you want to make
Talk
your
that
point
with your
as
mouth.
you are the head, carry your woman
Talk that
along.
50-50 with your mind.
Because you are head 6 units.
You
just
can't tell her
complain.
Talk that
to do that.
50-50 with your mind. Make you
You
rest.
can't tell her to do
Talk
that
that
consequence.
50-50.
That's her
It
belief.
doesn't work like
So you
that.
stick with yours. Don't tell her
And
not
this is
to have a
not
belief.
1808. This is 2022, for heaven's sakes. Our father has also spent that
2022, therein lies the problem. This is 2022, and so what? Okay,
This is
2022, so what?
So,
Now,
By the way,
we're living like we're in 1845.
hold on. I was going to ask you something earlier, Omala. You said that you know at least 5 women who suffered in their relationship, in their marriage.
5 is understatement.
How many do you know who did not? You earlier on, how many do you know that didn't suffer in their marriage? How many wives do you know that didn't suffer that kind of suffer in their marriage? Do you know any?
So it should be normal to suffer like that.
Answer the question.
Suffer is
Do you know?
Bring it down, Kelly, and everybody know this. We are being realistic now. I was on
answer
a live
the question now. Do you know, or you don't know anybody who no suffer for marriage? Where they suffer? You know the analogy you used earlier on that.
There are different types of suffering. Kelly, stop it. There are so many Nigerian. How many Nigerian men are out there today that are worth calling a man? I'm not talking about just having a dick.
No worry. We'll get there. No worry.
How many Nigerian men are there today, or African men that has substance? How many African men are there today that I can sit with, run ideas with, and rub minds with? You don't come to the table with an empty head and you still say you are a man. So if you are a man and you marry a woman that is not reasonable.
There are men in this
Listen,
Nigeria. Are there men
it's
that you can
important
say?
to listen
No, there
as
are
well
not
as
many.
talk.
Abi,
It's
There are no
important.
men out there. Don't get me started. There are no more men out there. What you have out there now, 8 out of 10 are men because they can impregnate a woman. Men of substance are as scarce as women of
Chill.
Omolara, okay, let's not generalize like that.
Can you chill? Can you chill? Omolara, you said moments ago that the reason why women get hyper defensive these days is because of something in the hand of some men. That in fact, the way you are, you can mention 5. You know, in fact, you say it is not past tense, it is present tense. You know 5 wives that have gone through hell with their husband. I'm asking you a very simple question. Do you know wives that are not going through hell with their husband? I want you to answer that. Or you don't know?
I know.
I know.
Unmute yourself and answer. Just that question alone.
I know a few. That
I know a few women who are not going through hell with their husband.
The negatives, right? You intend to amplify the negatives and ignore the positives.
No, it's the I'm talking of the positive. I know women. That's what I'm saying. That why is consequence talking
Abby,
as if suffering is a prerequisite?
Abby, I am not asking you. I'm asking who made. I'm asking the claimants. Claimants. My question.
If out of 10, 8 women are suffering in their marriage, I'll talk more of the 8 than the 2.
8 yes. Out of 10.
Yes. Forget the.
There's a problem with. There's a problem with your circle. There's a problem with your circle.
I don't have a circle, Kelly. I do not have a circle. I do not have a circle. With all due respect, Kelly, I have been married twice before.
No, but the way Kelly is speaking is as if he believes that suffering is a prerequisite of marriage.
I don't have a circle. I don't have a circle. Let
alone
the problem with my circle. The fact that they don't come out to tell what they are facing in their marriage doesn't make their marriage.
See, even Blessed One is saying it.
Let me address this. I see a lot of couples on social media. They come on social media, they take pictures, they pretend to be happy. Meanwhile, the husband has investment in my company that is warning us not to let the wife know. The wife too is building us somewhere that the husband does not know. I will go out, I will see husband with chicks. So many of them like that. So it's not about my circle. It is about what our society has turned into. Let us be realistic.
Can I just say something? Can I just say something?
Okay, if I
can you give me just 30 seconds?
Hold on. If I you have the floor.
I wanted to help
you. If I you have the floor.
It's messed up. Marriages in our society is
Omolara,
calm down now. Omolara, calm down.
I wanted to help your argument, Kelly, and well, I'm just helping your argument. It's not because of I agree with what you're saying, but I'm just trying to see if I can tell Omolara what you mean. Omolara, what he's saying is, if we are to test the waters and challenge the factfulness of things beyond social media, would we find more women in happy marriages, or we will find more happy marriages than happy marriages? Can we factfully find that? It's funny because if you look at the stats, you'll be surprised. You'll find more happy marriages than unhappy marriages. It's very weird. But it's funny, it's the stats. I just looked up and I looked up at it. Let me tell you why I looked up at it. Because I was looking,
is wrong. Hold
on. Let Ifeanyi finish.
Like I said, when I talk about these things, I'm very, very careful. I'm very careful. It's not because of anything. So there are those. I'm just saying what Kelly's saying. He was trying to ask you was saying if we test whatever the statistics is as opposed to what we feel it is, and what we feel it is can be based on what it is in our locality and not what it is in general. So it's always very important that if we're talking, before we stand on facts, let's know what the statistics is. That's one. That's what I was driving at. So that's what he was trying to make you see by what he was saying. Moving forward or moving on from that, again, Ron, I feel the parameters for this argument changed so much.
Exactly.
We were beginning to argue interesting things being put in. And that's why it makes it hard to follow everybody's train of thought. Now, if you had you gave us the out that the woman had the chance to say no in the beginning. That wasn't part of the question. Because the
No, no,
question
no,
was, we were already. Hold on
no, no,
now.
no.
Hold
They
on.
were trying
It
to
Hold on.
was
explain
Let me
not,
everything
Ron.
slowly.
Don't argue
Hold on,
it.
hold
It
on,
was not.
I'm being
hold
very
on,
plain now.
hold on. It was not added because I didn't expect the kind of answers I was giving, that I was
Okay.
getting, and that's why I had
Okay.
to throw it in. I said, you can step out if you
Okay.
want to.
Okay. Basically, so but that in itself gave us an out already for the question. So if we close that out and say, let's go back to what the question says. The guy is the husband. They're already married. He earns 6 figures, and this is the way he presented it to his wife. I don't want my children. You realize that these people are reacting. Now, where am I coming from with this? I am not going to address the women. I don't get wahala with woman. But I always get wahala with man because you are there to provide leadership. Now, leadership comes in very, very interesting forms. Let's say you don't even put me for this wahala. I said it. Now me talk and me fine. Say I get company we get 6 figure. I don't want my children go correct. And I told my wife and she reacts and says over her dead body. What do you expect me to do? What is leadership at that point in time? Is it to insist, or is it to find a way around it, or is it to find a way to explain the views, or is it to find a way to solve the issue till I get the result that I require? What would be leadership then, Ron? That's what we're missing here. It takes us
Okay.
away from this deadlock that we are having to the point of the deadlock we're having is whether we're considering whether roles are equal or whether it should be equal, it should be 50-50. The point generally is the leadership in itself is what I was trying to drive in that was even wrong. If I was going to present it and I was the one and I could do that, and you guys said presentation, two things happened. When you said the question the second time, you framed it better. When Mr. Consequence said this question the third time, even me, maybe if I be woman, I will tell you, okay, honey, I'll think about it. By the time you framed it and dusted it down, people were no longer hearing. They didn't hear the keywords that were inflaming people. Keywords being I earn 6 figure, so the person felt they were inanimate.
Ego.
Hold on. If they felt my children will not go to church. Oh, so all I'm here for is to care for your children. You see what I mean? However, it doesn't change what you want to achieve. What you want to achieve is someone to take care of your children at home, and that happens to be your wife. So once again, I ask the question: if I shout, say you are stupid, and I tell you, say, oh boy, this thing they stupid though. Which one? Is it different things? But how I convert the message changes everything. It shows leadership. What I see lacking is that what is the leadership to this scenario, to this situation?
Okay.
How can
So,
we phrase this thing?
okay. Now here's
Okay,
the thing.
before Ron speaks, I just want to point out that we are actually running over, so we have exactly 2 minutes to finish. So Ron, you will give your view. Consequence, you quickly say what you want to say, and then I'll read out the comments, and we'll continue next week.
Quickly answer. Consequence. Quickly give your view. Then I'll just give my view.
My view is
Okay.
just very simple. I think my view is very simple. I think if we approach things, because sometimes you'll be trying to save people and they would be saying, let me go and crash. And oftentimes, and this is why I've had a lot of communications or discussion or dialogues or even debates with feminists, for instance. And what I usually find out is even when you are making a case for them, their mindset is if it is coming out from the mouth of a man and it sounds as if it is against where I stand, okay, pick a fight. Even if what I'm saying is to help you. And that is where I usually have my fear. And that is what led me to asking the question that I'm asking Omolara. And I'm glad that Mr. Ifeanyi picked on where I was heading with that question. Because when Omolara come and say to you that, oh, there are no men out there, okay, other than the men that carry prick, I was going to hit my sister with another beautiful question. Are you going to date or are you done? Are you currently dating or are you planning to date? Because now you have an issue, unless if you are not going to date. All right. So this is just me. I'm just saying that maybe we should listen to each other. This is why I came with. I do not have a problem with the question asked. It is something that I can propose to my woman. If I am self-sufficient in this crazy world that we're living in, okay, and I understand that one of the reasons why we're marrying is for survival, right? My survivor, your survivor, our children's survivor. Okay, there's so many things that I would then take into consideration, especially because I know we're adults. We've done so much of our time. Kids then need a lot of investment. It is not money. One of my favorite doctors would say, that just because you have money does not mean you can raise a child. Okay, you can give them. It doesn't mean you can raise a child just because you have money. There's so many things that goes into it, and we've been fooled or played to think once you have money, boom, then you can just raise a child, and it's not working. So if I have money and I'm super wealthy, okay, for
Please,
us,
that's round
I
up.
can okay, I can propose that to my woman and say, hey, darling, listen, the world is going crazy, and we are seeing it today. You hire somebody, a housemaid, who not do anything, go molest your child. All of these things we can take it into consideration. So that was why I support the question from Mr. Rob. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
You are all welcome to another segment of Ron Explains.
I'm going to keep it. Hey. I'm going to keep it short. Can you all hear me? Raise your hand if you can hear me.
Yeah. Run. Go on. We overrun.
Okay, yeah. So here's the thing. Today has been a very difficult subject because, boys, and we need to have these discussions. Very important. And where I was going to with my analogy was from the beginning, right? Even though Abby said these things can change from the beginning, it is very, very. In fact, women from now on should start learning how to say no. And when I mean no, if you have a principle, if as a human being, you should stick with certain principles. When you don't hold principles dear to you, you kind of like you float around this world. You don't have a purpose because you don't stick by your principle. If you have a principle and you meet a guy, don't let anything qualities or anything the guy has to deceive you or to make you shift. Because if you know, because by the human nature by itself, people always tend to dance back to their principle no matter what happens at that initial spot. So if you know you want to become the chairperson of nuclear physicist of the whole world, and you're a woman and you're marrying a guy, and the rich man says that you'll suspend at some point, and you know you don't want to do it, please do not marry the guy. Do not marry the guy. And if you cooperated and agreed in the beginning and situation changed for any reason, maybe they arrested Dangote, your husband, and government decides to seize his wealth, and you people are back to base level. I don't think a Dangote will have an issue telling you that things are not the way they were before. Let us adjust. Let's see how we can make these things work. Go to work. Let me go to work. I'll carry my cutlass and go to farm. You go and be your nuclear physicist. I'm sure it's very doable. But the reason why we have these issues and these arguments we're having is that people no longer they don't stick to their principles, one, and people don't honor agreements they had in the beginning. I see it happen every time, more than often. Having said that, I think we'll have to continue this next week because I'm getting messages that we didn't deal with it enough, that it has to continue.
Yes,
So
we're going to deal with it again next week.
Before we do a part two, if you are watching now, I see a lot of 70% of the people watching us on YouTube are not subscribed to our channels. Are you guys enjoying to watch? You are not subscribing, even especially Homosexy. I don't know. Homosexy. Lara. I can see that you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, and I can see that your name is not there.
I don't know the YouTube. Now this one you sent me, I know.
It's there. Click it and subscribe.
It's
anyway,
there,
so
Lara. Don't use that excuse.
I don't know. This is the one I have been clicking on.
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you.
He will send it to you. Okay. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone. Thank you for joining us on the program. As usual, I hope that you've picked up one thing. A quick comment before we go into the comments. It's not easy to not have worked for 10, 15 years and just bounce into the workplace with your certificates. Nobody's going to hire you. So let's put that in mind. So Cheryl Torres said, greetings, YouTube family. Then Kathy Aldo said, hi, guys. So hi to you too. Then Emmanuel Oth said, Abby, point of correction. Women have gone off track that men have decided to look at them the way they present themselves. Okay, that must have been something Abby said. Next one, please. Timothy Adebayo Fashion said, interesting conversation as always. And then Amen Hotep said, the main point is all about respect. Whether poor or rich, respect is what balances couples. What do you say about the polygamous men in the villages who are peasant farmers, yet they still call shots? Okay.
Not time, no pass.
Yeah, right. Blessed One says, greetings, everyone. I understand where Abby is coming from. Some partners are simply self centered and believe they're the boss. I also understand the current speaker's point of view. That's Omolara. And then Amen Hotep said, I think there is a standard for men living in the city and those in the villages. Both have a different perspective regarding this matter. And then Blessed One said, any sort of relationship has to be a two-way street for it to work. Mutual events, mutual everything. We also know that some individuals have been brought up to boss everyone around. Quickly, Blessed One said, this is what Yorubas call Orolobi Atiako. Well, basically, there are two ways to say something. But
Like
that's not what she wrote.
stupid,
Blessed
stupid.
One, wait, go back. Yeah. Okay, next one. Blessed One also said, move on, run. Because you're a man, me and I should not come to play. What happened to we? This is 2022. Then said, woman a woman too, brosa. That's to consequence when you say man a man. Nigerian men should please learn to treat women like human beings and not like a piece of furniture. Women want to be in the lives of their children. You can take that to the bank. Next one. Amen Hotep says, oh, okay, I concur with what you say. You ain't property. The next one. Blessed One said, there are no roles for crying out loud. The next one said,
okay.
Yeah, no roles. Men and women can cook as much as they can eat. Move on. Emmanuel said, a home is a home because of a woman. Okay. Moving on. Yes, so true. Money changes certain people and they act otherwise, different from the way many know them. Okay. Next one. Bro, please. Okay, bro, if I please concentrate. He was playing with a Rubik Cube. Go on. Blessed One said, I salute Nigerian men. No, how about Kilode? Okay. Next one. You just validated my major concern. That was when I made the comments and she said, you just validated. Yeah. These settings do not work anymore. And that is what is causing a lot of problems in relationships. My wife is my zombie mentality. Next one. And the captain should not be gender specific.
Whoa.
Next one. Are you seriously saying that the woman cannot have a more superior solution to a problem? I know we are low value people.
Read comments.
Emmanuel, I'm reading it now. Emmanuel said, Omo, I beg to differ. That is not the way around the matter. You have created more issues with that kind of reasoning. That is total collapse of a marriage. She was speaking to Homosexy. Next one, Emmanuel said, there is no easy marriage that's ever been recorded. Omo, the fantasy of a marriage you are looking for only exists with Cinderella.
Nollywood.
Yeah, go on. Next one. Then Blessed One said, why must one suffer? I don't laugh, Taya. Okay, Emmanuel said, please, let's be more realistic with the matter. Do not talk out of fantasy. Well, because people you know suffer doesn't mean everybody has to. Blessed One said, my man is even laughing with me. Gosh, men have to have more men-to-men meetings.
True.
Then Blessed One said, preach it. That's to Homosexy. To Abby, rather. Then Emmanuel said, bro, Ife, leadership in terms of family affair, it means the man has to make the final decision. In a family government, there is no democracy. Okay, now they carry Bele now. Make
Good for you,
decision.
Emmanuel.
Life is a journey with mystery parts. We need to carefully prune our minds and thoughts in order to reap the positive, happy values to happy life. Yeah, or a dead wife. Anyone. Yeah, move on. Is that it? Okay. So those are the comments. Well, thank you everyone for all your comments and everything.
Comment after the show if you're watching after this live.
And then we can read them out for next week. So till we do this again, it's 2 hours. So till we do this again, thank you to Ron, to Abby Fash, to Homosexy, to Ifeanyi, and to Consequence, and to every single person who has, put a comment out there. Blessed One, Emmanuel, Sherry Torres, Amen Hotep, every single person. Thank you. for all your comments. Until we do this again, same time next week, and we are doing the same topic. So don't forget about that. Take care and God bless. And of course,